5:59.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm so happy to be here with Joyce Liu this evening. I'm Rebecca Barancic. As you may have heard, our dear new rabbi, Rabbi Morrison, is at Camp Coleman, so she will not be joining us tonight. Who knows, though? Maybe she's online, so let's say, hey, we're okay. And also, hello to everyone else who's watching us online. Hopefully, it's working this weekend. Tonight we are also joined by the Cantor Pamela Siskin Memorial Choir, which I'm overjoyed to be a part of, and I'm also going to now invite them up to the bima, and we will all sing together on page 10, Ma Yafeh Hayom. How great it is today, how great it is that we're all here together for Shabbat.
Amen. Get set up.
Thank you, everybody on the choir. And I just want to say how happy I am to see some little ones here in our congregation tonight. So thank you for coming, and thanks to your parents for bringing you. It's just wonderful to have you here with us. We'll turn to page 2 for the lighting of the Shabbat candles, and we will all sing together after I light them.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehatlik ner Shel Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom tehillah lemikra'ei kodesh Zecher litziat Mitzrayim Kivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן. לחיים.
Perfect. Let's all turn to page 20 for Lecha Dodi, where we compare Shabbat to the Sabbath bride. And you can see just the beautiful, loving relationship between the Jewish people and Shabbat and God. We'll read verses 1, 2, and 9. And when we get to verse 9, if you are comfortable, we invite you to please rise at your seat and face the door as if to welcome that Sabbath bride into our congregation.
Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shemor v'zachor b'dirbur echad Yishmiyanu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad Hashem il tiferet v'li tehillah. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha ki makor habracha mirosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh v'makshava tehillah. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala gam b'simcha uv'tola tokemune am segula boi kala lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Thank you, Joyce, for lifting us up, and stay up. As we turn to page 26, we remain standing for the Chetzi Kaddish.
Yitkada v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah Be'amad yivrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh B'chayechon uv'yomehon uv'chayedecho bet Israel Ba'agala uv'izman kariv V'yimru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam amei amaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalach קודשה בריחו, לעילם עם כל ברכתה ושירתה, טוב שפחתה ונחמתה, דמין רן בעלמה, ויאמרו Amen.
And we continue standing and turn the page to 28 for the Baruch Hu, our call to worship.
Yai nai 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 yai nai yai nai 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 yai nai 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 yai nai 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 yai nai Barehu et Adonai Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Leolam Vaed Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Leolam Vaed Yai nai 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 yai nai yai nai 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 yai nai 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 yai nai 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 nai.
If you are not in the choir, you may be seated, and those of you in the choir, I invite to come back up to the bima. We turn to page 30 for Ma'ariv Aravim. You may know some of the English. It's easy. Roll into dark, roll into night. Night becomes day. Day turns to night. And you'll see in the middle of page 30, depending on your Hebrew, you'll see where it says Borei Yom Valayla in the middle of that page. And that's what we will be singing. Grateful to God for bringing on twilight.
Turns to night.
mic working? Yes. Let's all read together at the bottom of page 30, the Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. We turn the page to the Shema. 2 pages, page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Let's turn to page 36 for the V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatan levanecha v'dibarta ba'am v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha Ukshartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha. Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. Leman tizkaru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'tem kadoshim le'lohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem Mieretz Mitzrayim Liot lachem Lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. Emet meaning truth. Let's read more about Emet on page 39, top of the page. Let's read together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. That is the truth. Page 40, Michamocha.
Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot, oh sefela, Nora tehilot, oh sefela. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai?
Turn to page 44 for Vishamru.
Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asod et hashabat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asod et hashabat ledorotam berit olam beini uvein b'nei Israel oti ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם.
I really love the little note at the bottom of page 45. To me, it's a great interpretation of Vishamru. More than the Jewish people has kept Shabbat, Shabbat has kept the Jewish people. Let's stay on page 45 as I invite the choir back up. And we will start with Eternity Utters a Day, which is some of the bottom paragraph on page 45, which will then segue us into page 46. And at that point, I will invite you to rise. Page 45. Adonai Sefatai Tivtav Ufi Yagita Hilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanorah El Elyon ata. Mechakel chayim v'chesed. Mechaye hakol berachamim. Somech noflim v'rofet holim. Umatir asurim. Umechayem emunato. Lishenei afar. Michamocha ba'al gevurot. Umidom elach. Melech memit umechaye. Umasmiach Yeshua. Ne'emar ata l'chayo takol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh ha'akol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el ha'kadosh. You may be seated. I gotta say, that was kind of freeing, wasn't it, choir? We all read that without, or chanted that without our books. But it just shows you when you're all together, you can get it done. All right, so that was a privilege to chant with all of you. Let's turn to page 57 and read together. We'll read together in the middle of the page. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands. You are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. In the Hebrew, Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. We turn to page 59, which is typically our Hoda'ah prayer, where we give thanks to the many wonderful things that have happened to us. Even this has been a hard week for our Temple family, as you'll hear when we get to the mourner's Kaddish. But even so, we try to look for the little lights that might make us feel a little better. So I invite you, do we do it Rabbi Morrison's way or Rabbi Mangold's way? I'll take the mic down and pass it around, and let's all share some of the goodness that's happened to us this past week. Who would like to go first?
The temp position I'm at right now got my contract extended for an unknown amount of time. So maybe this will turn into something really good.
Congratulations, good for them.
I'm grateful that I'm here, and because I've been having a hard time with breathing, but also my dog Buglu, he went to the vet today, and he's doing pretty good, and they said I'm spoiling him and doing a great job. And I love my dog.
Always something to be grateful for, a nice fuzzy pet.
I'm grateful because I have really enjoyed being with the choir. It's been fun.
And everyone, there will be another session of the choir in the fall.
Yeah.
So you are all welcome to join.
I'm grateful that I had a big birthday, and I'm still here to tell you about it 7 decades later.
And my wife got a big makeover today, and she looks marvelous.
Great. Who's in the way back? Oh. Josh, welcome.
I am so grateful to be introduced to this amazing community, and I am so grateful to be here with each and every one of you today. And this Shabbat is just, I've got tears back here, so grateful for those tears. Hi, everybody. I'm Josh Gamson. I'm your new Director of Education here at Temple Beth-El. But I didn't want to introduce myself. I was just giving thanks. Thank you to everyone for a wonderful welcome this week.
He stole my thunder. I was going to introduce him later. No. Welcome, Josh. We're very grateful you're here. Anybody else? More gratitude? I'm grateful to see Chip. I am. I'm grateful to see everyone, but Chip is like our prized Hebrew student, so it always makes me happy to see him. Wonderful. Well, let's take all that gratitude in our hearts. Let's not keep it inside. Let's share it with everyone else, as we are here to support one another, just like that prayer said under Emet. Joyce, will you lead us now on page 60? Shalom Rav.
Oh yeah, time to wish some peace. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. Ki atahu melech adon l'chol chashalom. Ki atahu melech adon l'chol chashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam.
Thank you. We now turn to page 253 for the Misha Berach, where we're thinking of those in need of healing of mind, of body, of spirit. Remembering again that we're all here together to support one another. And as I read the list of names, please consider being God's helper and calling them, calling their caretakers. Let's all share good and bad together. We pray for these members of our Temple Beth-El family: Leah Brady, Sarah Gassman, Jamie Joslin, and Barbara Storensis. We also keep in prayer these relatives and friends of our community: David Brady, Helen Foreman, Robert Gilner, Susan Goldstein, Goran Kitchik, Joan Schauder, Sandy Siegel, Stan Silverberg, Marcia Turkin, and Matthew Sternberg Yee. If you have others you're thinking about this Shabbat, please feel free to say their names aloud, starting on this side of the congregation. Let's read the Misha Berach on page 253.
Misha Berach Avotenu Avraham Yitzhak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Yevarech את הקולים. מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך וירפא את הקולים. אלנה רפאנה לה, אלנה רפאנה לה, אלנה רפאנה לך, אלנה רפאנה לה. מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך וירפא את הקולים. הוא יברך וירפא את הקולים.
Let's take a few moments for silent prayer, and when we return, we'll be on page 62 for Oseh Shalom.
Oseh shalom b'romav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
I've said many times that you can always find something in the week's Torah portion that relates to whatever you have in mind or whatever is going on in the world. Sometimes it takes a stretch of the imagination, but this week it is impressively spot on. I'm generally not a procrastinator, so I started thinking about this week's Torah portion, Pinchas, well over a week ago. That is to say, before this past Sunday's announcement that President Biden would not be running for re-election, and before Vice President Harris became the presumptive Democratic nominee. So you have to believe me when I say this sermon is not intended to be political. The Torah portion, Pinchas, is in Numbers, the book of Numbers, and it has a lot in it. We finish up the story of Pinchas, who in last week's Parsha killed an Israelite man and Moabite woman who were, let's say, misbehaving on the steps of the sanctuary. There's a great debate as to whether or not Pinchas was a hero or a zealot. We also have the story of the daughters of Zelophehad, who spoke out on behalf of all women, really, and they got God to change the law so that women could inherit property. Also a big and really important topic that we could probably relate to this week's events. But about a week and a half ago, while thinking about this Parsha, I was chatting with my friend Sebastian. He's one of the biggest thinkers I know. Sebastian recently went back to school to get his master's degree in theology and leadership, and he knows Torah and the Christian scriptures like nobody else. We were discussing whether strong leadership is compatible with humility. We were thinking about both political as well as spiritual leaders. Of course, I also wondered about college professors. What do you think? Spend a moment just talking with those around you. Do you think that great leadership is compatible with humility? Just spend a moment, see if you have any examples. Chat with your friends. What do you think? Anybody want to shout out an example of that says, yes, you can be humble and a great leader, or no, absolutely not? Ted. Oh, interesting. What? I should have given you the microphone because I don't think I can repeat all that for everyone on the live stream. But Ted said maybe yes, maybe no. He gave actually a great Jewish answer. It depends. But a good point that if you're humble, you might admit when you're wrong, and that could be a sign of great leadership. We don't always get that. Anyone else? Arlie. Okay, so right, in theory, it sounds like a great idea to have a more humble leader, but we have that, I like cult of personality, which often implies a bigger ego. So anyone else want to make a comment? Sebastian and I decided there may be just a circular quality to the relationship between leadership and egotism. Because you have to be really confident in yourself to want to be a leader, and in order for others to believe that you are their leader. But at the same time, being the center of attention often strokes the ego, knowing that you're making a difference in people's lives, for better or for worse, may further inflate it. So, is a big ego necessary or even a desired characteristic in a leader? I don't know if there were any leaders you had in mind, but since we're at Temple and I'm standing in front of the ark here, I think we should look to Torah and see what we think about Moses, our greatest leader. From the get-go, he's not eager to assume the mantle of leadership. You might remember back in the beginning of Exodus, when God speaks to Moses at the burning bush, God tells Moses to free the Israelites from Pharaoh's slavery and hardship. What does Moses reply? He says, Mi anochi, who am I to be the leader, right? Who am I to lead the Israelites? It takes a lot of reassurance and cajoling from God to convince Moses that he's strong enough to do this. God says that God will be there by Moses' side. God gives Moses a few wonders to perform, and also God assigns Moses' brother, Aaron, to help as his spokesman. And throughout the rest of Torah, we see many more instances of Moses humbling himself by delegating his authority to those around him, whether it be the judges who his father-in-law advised him to get to help him, or the 70 elders who supported him as he was overwhelmed by the complaining Israelites. And those Israelites probably put a check on Moses' ego as well. All of this leads us to today's parsha, in which God tells Moses to ascend to Mount Abarim to, quote, view the land that I have given to the Israelite people. To view the land that I have given to the Israelite people. When you have seen it, you too shall be gathered to your kin. That's Bible speak for you will die. So when you have seen it, you too shall be gathered to your kin, just as your brother Aaron was. In other words, it is here that Moses is allowed to look into the promised land, though he will not be allowed to enter it. That's because, as we learned a couple of parshas ago, Moses struck a rock instead of speaking to it as God had commanded. Interestingly, at this point, when God says, you're not going into the promised land, Moses does not argue with God about this punishment. Rather, he asks who will replace him. He's showing that his concern for the Israelites supersedes his concern for himself. As the Torah commentators say, Moses' first response is not self-pity, but concern for his people's future. Talk about subsuming oneself for the greater good. Moses, the person who led the Israelites out of Egypt, who received the 10 Commandments, who was given the entire Torah to pass to the Israelites and down to us today. He had every right to be full of himself and blind to others' needs. But somehow he maintained that balance that is described in an old Hasidic tale you may have heard of. In the 18th century, a Hasidic rabbi, Simcha Bunim, used to carry 2 notes, one in each pocket. One read, I am but dust and ashes. The other read, the world was made for me. Leaders, followers, rebels, whoever you are, this seems like good advice for us to all keep in mind. And whom does God pick to be the next leader who will lead the Israelites into the promised land? It's Joshua. I think I heard someone say it. What do you know about Joshua? Anybody? Strategist? What were you going to say, Jackie? Military strategist? Exactly. Earlier in the book of Numbers, you might remember, or you're about to hear, the story of the 12 spies who Moses sent into the land of Canaan to see, is the land okay? And 10 of them came back. Remember, they said, we looked like grasshoppers to the inhabitants because they had absolutely no self-esteem, no faith in God. But only Joshua and Caleb had enough faith in themselves and in God to not be scared of the inhabitants of the land of Canaan. And for this reason, both Joshua and Canaan are allowed to go to the land. But why Joshua and not Caleb? Joshua is Moses' second in command. What's the job of the number 2? Well, in ego terms, the number 2 has to subjugate his or her, their interests in support of the number 1. And at the same time, the number 2 is always looking out for the greater cause. Here in the notes that I took last week, I wrote, gee, did I just make the case for Kamala Harris to replace Biden? And here, before I get too political, I wish you a Shabbat Shalom. And it's now my pleasure and honor, if I may, invite Josh, our new education director, along with Jerry Maddenberg, our executive director extraordinaire, to come up to the bima as we all rise for the Aleinu, which is on page 282.
Scout it out.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'atet gedula le'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyeh haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot adama, shelo samchalkenu kahem, v'goralenu kechol amonam, va'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We now come to the mitzvah of memory, where we turn our hearts to those who've died in recent days, recent weeks, and in this season in years past. This has been a rough week for our temple with 4 losses. These loved ones have not yet had their funerals or been buried, so we do not officially say Mourner's Kaddish for them yet by tradition. I think, someone else might correct me, but I think there's a tradition that while people have just gotten the shock of bad news, busy making arrangements, that they are not yet ready to receive the support that the Mourner's Kaddish offers. Nevertheless, when we see these loved ones, please be sure to give them extra love and know that we're all together. It's one community. So we're thinking of the recently departed Abdul Duke Fakir, Sheila Berner, Evan Berner's mom, Laura Berner's mom-in-law, and her shiva is this Sunday at 8 a.m. Sunday morning. The funeral is Sunday morning. Bev Shapiro, our beloved President Mike Shapiro's mother, who's also Sue Shapiro's mother-in-law, and I'm told that she is the bubby, not the grandma, of her grandchildren and great-granddaughter. And that shiva will be in a couple weeks from now. I'm sure we'll get more information on that. And then Terry Miller, Steve Miller's wife, her funeral you probably saw is going to be on Thursday. So our hearts go out to all of you. And again, we're all here with you. We are commemorating the recent deaths of Ed Levine, Helen Levine's brother, and Norma Plattner. And I'll read the names of those whose yahrzeits, whose anniversaries are this Shabbat. Feel free to rise at your seat if you feel comfortable. This Shabbat, we're thinking of Jason Bernstein, Michael Borish, Eleanor Bromesco, Philip Brennan, Morris David Cohen, Francis Teresa Ewan Carr, Faye Fuldauer, Benjamin Glass, Jerry Gordon Hellman, Stephen Grant, Lillian Halliser, Max Hale, Debbie Howell, Neil Cass, Robert Lachter, Ida Lee, Sylvia Levitsky, Abraham Nathan Olitsky, Irene Lewis Perry, Hannah Person, Hannah B. Person, Faye Rosenzweig, Abraham Rudderman, Ronald Rusin, Leslie Elizabeth Shavlin, Louis C. Sherwin, Thomas Steele, and Frederick Westcott. If there are others whom you're thinking of this Shabbat and you'd like to say their name aloud, I invite you to rise at your seat at this time. Let's turn then to page 294 as we say the Mourner's Kaddish together. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, b'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'galal v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba Mabarach le'olam u'almei almaya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpa'ar v'yitzramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kedusha barichu. Le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiram b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mroma, uya oseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichrona livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. You may be seated. And now Steve Jenkins will come up here, talk about great leaders with very little ego. Steve's going to make some announcements.
Good evening. Good to see everybody here. Thank you to many people that helped make this service what it is. Bonnie, raise your hand as our greeter for tonight. Although a lot of us just stand right there at the door where Jerry is too and kind of greet everybody. It's quite a lot of greeters, which is great. Thank you, Rebecca, for leading the service and for your thoughts on the sermon. It is important to have humble leaders. It's rare that we see them. Yeah. Joyce and the choir, thanks for the uplifting music and song that makes our praying and our service so much better. Last week we saw Greg running around making the audio system work. Greg's hiding back there, but raise your hand. Thank Greg, and everything's getting back to normal, and he's here just to make sure that we're good tonight. Our thoughts and prayers to the Shapiro family, to the Berner family, and to the Miller family. Tough week for all of you. And Aiden, it's good to have you three best buds there tonight, isn't it? You guys are good to support your friend Aiden in this time of loss. Thank you to Bobby Jerry for putting so much stuff up here, getting the beamer ready, getting the pre-neg out there also. And ONEG sponsors Nicole Bromesco and Charles Kitchler. Thank you very much for putting this together. I try and keep myself from eating too many of the deviled eggs, but I had one, and I think that's it for 2024. But that's the way I work it. And let's see, welcome again to Josh. I did guess correctly on the 601,000, so I was good with that. Thank you, and I like the way you did that on the video this morning, and give everybody a chance to think through what the answer is. How many people here are here for the first time? Anyone? There we go. Yes, one of Aiden's friends. Thank you for coming. It's good to see a lot of faces here tonight. Some new ones is always good. Announcement-wise, I guess I should get to some of those too. And they're in your Shabbat spotlight, which is really cool. And just if you don't have one in front of you, Monday on the 29th is your deadline to RSVP for the Torah Trope Summer Online Class, led by Rebecca Barancic. Wednesday is hopefully your deadline, or Jerry's going to be following up with you to on your membership donation form. If you have any questions about it, see Jerry. She's in the back. Friday, next Friday, we have the early pre-neg, early oneg at 5:30, and the Shabbat service will be led by both Rebecca and Scott Barancic. That's going to be cool. If you have any questions on the Torah Trope class, see Rebecca. You're in charge of pretty much everything. That's great. Yeah. So with that, good talking with you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Nope, I'm not in charge of anything. And Aiden, I apologize. I've apparently hit that age threshold where I don't recognize people when they come home from college. So, and I'm sorry to you as well for your loss. So everyone, we come to the end of our service. I want to thank Joyce one more time. I know the whole choir wants to thank her, and I bet everybody else here wants to thank Joyce. So thank you so much. And I invite the choir to come up for our closing song, Hava Nashira. It's on page 339.
So let us sing a song that praises God. Hava, Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. 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 Hava. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
Thank you. Good job.